Hello, scholars. My name is Mrs. Ross. I'm an academic coach at Hodge Elementary School. I'm really looking forward to this fourth grade math lesson on how to decompose fractions. I absolutely love teaching and learning about fractions simply because it's one of those things that we use in life all the time. For example, what about maybe when we cook? I made some brownies just the other day. And when I did, the recipe told me that I needed 3 large eggs, a third cup of vegetable oil, a half cup of water. Those are not whole number amounts. Those are fractions. There are lots of other ways that we use fractions in real life as well. For example, money. We use fractions when we think about 50 cents. 50 cents is 2 quarters, which is half of a dollar. Or 1 quarter, 25 cents, is 1/4 of a dollar. So fractions is one of those concepts that you will use all the time, and you use it all the time now, you just don't always think about it. So I'm really excited to be able to teach you this lesson on how to decompose fractions. For today's lesson, my expectations are that you'll be ready to think, share your ideas, work independently and try your best. If you have some trouble with the lesson and you need an adult to help you, feel free to ask, or maybe an older sibling. And I just want you to have fun. Learning is fun, especially math. I love math. You'll need a pencil, probably some crayons or colored pencils or markers. If you don't have any of those, it's okay. A pencil will be just fine. You'll also need a math journal or just a sheet of paper. In this lesson, our objective, what you will learn, is how to use fraction models to decompose fractions as a sum of fractions. Our essential question, kind of our guiding question for the lesson. How can we use visual models to decompose fractions into a sum of fractions? And that's what we're going to dive into now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use a paper folding model that's, again, back to our standard, a visual model to help us see how to decompose fractions and just to make this concept clear and easy. So what I need you to do now is to grab a sheet of paper and fold the paper in half like this, which is hot dog style. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just kind of get it in half. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half again like this. And then we're going to go this way. Once your paper is folded like that, you'll need a pair of scissors. I apologize, I didn't say that in the beginning, but you do need a pair of scissors just for this cutting. And if you don't have a pair of safety scissors that you can use, it's okay. If you fold your paper in half just a few times, you can kind of just tear it apart. And then what you can do, I'm going to actually do mine without scissors this time so that you can see how it's done without scissors. I'm just going to fold just this portion of the paper. And then I'm going to just kind of gently tear this apart. And you can do the same thing. And I'm holding it up, but if you lay it flat, it'll be a lot easier to tear it without tearing the paper in a way that you don't want to. And so what I end up with is a strip of paper that looks like this. And I'm going to sit that strip of paper right here. I'm going to sit it under my document camera, so let me just present that so that you can see it. Okay. I have the document camera presented now. And so what I want you to do is we're going to do some paper folding. Thank you for being patient with Mrs. Ross. So what I would like for you to do is fold your paper, and you'll notice that I've just folded this paper down in the middle, and then I'm bringing this side to meet it because what I'm basically trying to do is just get these equal parts. Okay? And then when we unfold the paper, what do we have? Think, now say. Very good. I heard some good ideas. We still have a whole strip of paper, but now it's been partitioned or sectioned into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. And so what I want you to do now is take your writing tool, it could be your pencil, or it can be an ink pen, or one of your colored pencils or crayons or markers, and we're just going to go in these creases, and we're going to just kind of define the lines so that we can see our fractional parts that we have created. Okay, so we still have, again, one whole model. So I'm going to write a number sentence that begins with 1 whole equals, and each of these is 1, 2, 3 parts that make up the whole. So this would be 1/3, 1/3, and again 1/3. I would like for you to label your paper strip in this manner. Very good. Now that we've done that, our number sentence, or in this case, we can even say it's an equation, because we have an equal sign and our left and right side will be equal to each other. 1 whole can be decomposed into the sum of fractions, in this case, unit fractions, because we have a single unit 1 in our numerator. 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 1 whole. Our denominator 3 just tells us that we're dealing with thirds. And the 1 in the numerator refers to each specific one out of the 3 parts. That was pretty simple, right? Yeah. Now, what's another way that we could decompose the same 1 whole? Think, now say. Good job. I think I heard some people say we could group 1/3 plus 1/3, and notice I use parentheses to help me group them together. 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3 plus the other 1/3 that we already had. I'm going to demonstrate this visually by coloring in 2 of the thirds. I'm going to shade those in, and I would like for you to do the same thing. So we visually see 2/3 plus 1/3 still equals our 1 whole. Let's try this again. How could we make these 3 total parts become 6 parts? Think, now say. Very good. We can fold them back to the original way that they were folded, and then we can fold them in half again. And so what happens now, when we open our fraction strip, or our 1 whole strip, excuse me, what we now have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. And so what we now want to do is the same thing we did the first time, which is I want you to define those lines. You can do this while I'm doing it. And this will just help us to see our 6 pieces a bit more clearly. Now, each of these represent 1 of 6 total parts. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts, but each one represents 1 of the 6 total parts. So we are again decomposing fractions into the sum of fractions, and we're using visual models to help do this. We're going to again begin with 1 whole equals 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 total parts make up our 1 whole. What's another way that we might be able to decompose this 1 whole? Think, now say. Good job. I heard lots of different answers. I'm just going to take one. Let's shade this one orange, this one orange. If you do not have crayons or markers, it's okay. You can use your pencil and just shade some lighter and shade some darker. That'll be okay. I'm going to shade this one blue, and then I'm going to shade these three left red. And so now I can visually see a different way to decompose the one whole strip, excuse me. One whole is equal to now the two oranges, 2 6. Now notice I'm not adding my denominator. That's a common mistake that people make. The reason we're not doing that is, remember, we created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total parts. So the fractional parts that we're dealing with are 6, and they're always going to be 6, okay? Plus the blue 1 6 plus our purple or reddish color 1 2 3 6. Notice one whole, if we were to add these or combine these, and remember, let's go back to the definition of adding. Adding is to find the sum, and to find the sum or to add is to combine like things, or like quantities, or like amounts. 6 are all alike. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 3 more is 6. Our denominator, the type of fractional parts, are 6, and so 6 is equal to 1 whole. I have really enjoyed working with all of you and using the visual models. This is really helpful in understanding fractions. What I would like for you to do now is, I would like for you to try to decompose some other fractions. And what we did just now was 1 whole, so what I want to do really quickly is, and I'm not going to use a fraction model this time, but I want you to have another way that you can decompose besides just using the fraction models. And what I'm also going to do is, this time, I want to work with a fractional amount instead of 1 whole. So what if we had the fraction 4 over 6, or 4/6? How could we decompose that fraction? Well, again, fractions just lend itself to models and pictures and drawings. So here we go. My 1 whole model sort of replicates what I did with this, with the paper strip, except now I'm drawing my own model. And what I'm going to do is try my very best to create 6 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. And I am only dealing with 4 of them. So I'll shade in 4 of the 6. So to decompose, I am going to this time use, I'm going to look at this visual model, but I'm going to use a number bond. What is a number bond? A number bond is a way that we can show a part-whole relationship. So to make up the 4/6, which is the amount that we're starting with, what are the individual units or the individual fractional parts that make up 4/6? Well, 1/6 plus another 1/6 plus another 1/6 plus another 1/6. Oops, we can fix that. That's 1 over 6. 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 will equal 4/6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Let's try decomposing it a different way. Take a look at the model. Think. Now say, very good. Yeah, we could do this like this. We could make 2 of our 6 red and another 1 orange and 1 blue, which means when we do our number bond, it will not be exactly like the first one. 4/6 is now been decomposed into 2/6 plus 1/6 plus another 1/6. So there's another way. We can use our paper strips to decompose fractions, We can use number bonds to decompose fractions. And there are other ways as well, but those are two really simple ways that really make it clear and visible for you to see. I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with each and every one of you. I heard some really great ideas, and I just hope that you will have a wonderful time just practicing and working on the work that you currently have. Enjoy the rest of your day, wonderful scholars.